I shoved my phone screen in front of my husband. It clearly displayed a bank text alert. Your account has transferred 100 million yuans to account ending in 8888. Balance, $10 million. A full $10 million just transferred to someone else. Marcus was tying his tie. His movements froze for a second, then he casually continued. Grace, are you checking my phone again? Answer my question. My voice trembled. Who did you transfer this $10 million to? It's for the office. You wouldn't understand. He finished adjusting his tie, turned to face me. A flicker of impatience in his eyes. We've been married for 3 years. When have you ever seen me make a bad business deal? Office business? I scoffed, swiping open my phone's photo gallery and pulling up the pictures I took at the mall yesterday. Then what about this? Is this also for the office? In the photos, Marcus was embracing a woman in front of a jewelry counter. The woman was wearing a necklace worth millions, and they looked as intimate as a couple in love. Marcus's face instantly changed. Sarah is back from overseas. He was silent for a long while before finally uttering this sentence. Sarah, the one that got away, who had lived in his heart for 10 years. When he proposed to me back then, he personally said he had forgotten her and that I was the woman he loved most. So what? I tried hard to make my voice sound calm. She's back, and you're going to be her personal ATM again. Grace, you've misunderstood. Marcus walked over, trying to hug me, but I dodged him. Sarah has had a tough time overseas these past few years. I just wanted to help her. Help her. I looked at him. This face that once made my heart pound now seemed so unfamiliar. $10 million in help. Marcus, you're truly generous. That amount isn't much for us, he said indifferently. With the Vance family's vast estate, do you really care about $10 million? I was stunned. The family's estate? So, in his eyes, all our community property belonged to the Vance family, and he had the right to squander it as he pleased. Marcus, I'm going to ask you one more time. I said each word clearly. Was this $10 million transferred to Sarah from our joint account? He avoided my gaze. Grace, don't be unreasonable. I laughed, tears streaming down my face as I did. My husband transferred $10 million to another woman behind my back, and my asking about it is being unreasonable. The phone suddenly rang. Marcus glanced at it, and a gentle smile immediately appeared on his face. Sarah? He answered the phone, his voice as soft as a feather. What's wrong? What happened? I heard a woman crying on the other end of the line. Marcus, I'm so scared. Someone was following me just now. I don't dare go home. Don't be scared. I'm coming to pick you up right now. Marcus frantically grabbed his car keys. Where are you? I'll be right there. He hung up, then hurried towards the door. He paused as he passed me. Grace, I have an urgent matter. We'll talk tonight. And then he left, leaving me alone in the empty living room. 3 years. For these 3 years, every time he received a call from Sarah, he would immediately drop everything and go to her. And I, his wife, was less important than a stranger in his eyes. My phone vibrated. It was a WhatsApp message. I opened it. It was a social media post screenshot from Sarah. In the photo, she was clinging to Marcus's arm, her face beaming with happiness. The caption read, "Thank you, big brother Marcus, for the necklace. I'll cherish it." There were quite a few likes below, including Marcus's. He even commented, "Glad you like it." I took a screenshot to save it, then opened my contacts list and dialed a number. "Hello, Mr. Robert. This is Grace. I'd like to inquire about a divorce." As I was speaking, the door lock clicked. Marcus was back. I hung up and watched him walk in. "You're back so soon?" I asked coldly. "Sarah's fine. It was just a false alarm," he said, taking off his jacket. "Grace, I know you're upset, but Sarah is really just my sister's sister." I cut him off. What kind of brother buys his sister $1 million necklace? What kind of brother transfers $10 million to his sister all at once? Marcus was speechless, and this? I pulled out my phone, found the screenshot I had just saved. How do you explain this social media post? Seeing the screenshot, Marcus's face changed again. "Are you spying on me?" "Spying?" I scoffed. "Marcus, your wife is questioning you about your relationship with another woman. It's not spying. Grace, you've changed." He looked at me, his eyes showing disappointment, and more, annoyance. "You weren't like this before, the old me." I thought of myself right after we got married, that naive girl who thought he was my whole world. The old me certainly wasn't like this. The old me was utterly foolish. "What are you talking about?" "I'm saying, Marcus, let's get a divorce." As the words left my mouth, The living room fell so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Marcus stared at me, as if he couldn't believe what he had heard. What did you say? Divorce, I repeated, each word clear. Since still occupies your heart, why bother continuing this marriage? Grace. He suddenly raised his voice. Are you crazy? You want to divorce me over such a small matter? Small matter? Is $10 million a small matter? Is marital betrayal a small matter? In your eyes, our marriage is indeed a small matter, I said calmly. Since it's a small matter, ending it shouldn't be difficult. I don't agree. Marcus's attitude was firm. Grace, calm down. Don't ruin our relationship on a whim. Relationship? Did we even have a relationship left? Marcus, do you think I should continue a marriage like this? He was silent for a moment, then suddenly softened his tone. Grace, I admit I handled things poorly, but my feelings for you are real. Sarah is just what? I waited for his answer. Just a past I can't let go of, he said, but you are my present and my future. What a classic manipulative line. I almost burst out laughing. Marcus, if you truly believe that, then go get that $10 million back right now and cut all ties with Sarah. His face changed. Grace, don't go too far. Is asking a husband to be faithful going too far? It seems you've made your choice. I turned and walked upstairs. My lawyer will contact you tomorrow, Grace. He called after me. If you dare to divorce me, you'll what? I stopped and looked back at him. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out, because he knew that threatening someone who had made up their mind was meaningless. Chapter 2. The next morning, I received a call from my best friend. Chloe, Grace, are you crazy? Are you really going to divorce Marcus? Her voice was filled with disbelief. Looks like the news traveled fast. Who told you? I asked as I packed my things. The whole circle knows. Chloe was frantic. Do you know what people are saying outside? They're saying you're jealous and can't tolerate Marcus helping a friend. I paused. Friend? Yeah, isn't Sarah's friend? She ran into trouble overseas, so what's wrong with Marcus helping her out? You two have plenty of money, Chloe. I cut her off. Do you think friends, a man and a woman, would buy each other $1 million necklace? The other end of the line was quiet for a moment. Necklace? What necklace? I sent her the photos I took yesterday. A few seconds later, she gasped. Oh my God. This is too intimate, isn't it? And this? I sent the bank transfer records, $10 million. Chloe's voice changed pitch. Is crazy? Transferring $10 million to another woman? Now do you know why I want a divorce? I know. This man really is too much. Chloe was indignant. Grace, you're doing the right thing. Why keep a man like this? Are you waiting for the new? I hung up and continued packing. The house was bought after we got married and was under my name, but I didn't want it anymore. After the divorce, I would move back to the old Vance family estate. As I was packing, the doorbell rang. I thought it was a delivery. But when I opened the door, I saw a strange woman standing there. You are? I'm Sarah. The woman smiled sweetly, her voice very gentle. You must be Marcus's wife, right? I'm his friend, Sarah. This was the woman Marcus had been infatuated with for 10 years. She was indeed beautiful, with that delicate, pitiable look that most easily stirred a man's protective instincts. Can I help you? I didn't let her in. Well, Sarah said, looking a little embarrassed, I heard Marcus say you had some misunderstandings because he helped me, and I wanted to explain in person. No need. I prepared to close the door. There's nothing to explain. Wait. Sarah quickly reached out to block the door. Grace, can I call you Grace? I know you're angry with Marcus, but he was really just helping me. Helping you with what? I retorted. Helping you buy $1 million necklace? Helping you transfer $10 million? Sarah's face showed surprise. You know all that? I'm his wife. Shouldn't I know? No. I mean, Sarah bit her lip, looking hesitant. Actually, the money Marcus gave me, I'll pay it back. Pay it back. I sneered. When? I'm trying to figure out how. Sarah's voice grew quieter. I know $10 million is a lot, but I really will pay it back. I don't want to ruin your marriage. What a great actress. She was clearly his mistress, yet she spoke as if she were the victim. Sarah, just say what you want to say. I had no patience for her act. Sarah looked around, then lowered her voice. Grace, actually, there's a reason I came back to the city this time. What reason? I'm pregnant. These 4 words hit me like a thunderbolt. I stared at her blankly, my mind a complete void. The baby is Marcus's. Sarah continued. I didn't want to ruin your marriage, so I never told him, but now, I need money to raise the baby. So I shook my head vigorously, trying to clear my thoughts. What did you say? I'm sorry, Grace. Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes. I know this is cruel to you, but the baby is innocent. The money Marcus gave me was for buying a house for the baby, so I could have a stable place to give birth. You're lying. I blurted out. Marcus would never betray me. Grace, calm down. Sarah pulled a medical report from her bag. This is the hospital medical report. I'm already 3 months pregnant. I mechanically took the report. It did indeed have Sarah's name on it, stating 13 weeks pregnant. When did this happen? I heard my voice as if it came from far away. 3 months ago. When Marcus went to Los on a business trip, Sarah said softly, we both drank too much, and it happened. I originally wanted to get an abortion, but Marcus said, what did he say? He told me to have the baby, and he would take responsibility. Sarah wiped away her tears. Grace, I know this is really unfair to you, but Marcus said he would handle it. Handle it? How would he handle it? Divorce me and marry her? I felt like I was about to collapse and had to hold onto the door frame to stay upright. Grace, are you okay? Sarah asked with concern. Leave. I closed my eyes. Leave now. Don't let me see you again. Grace, go. I shouted loudly. Get out. Sarah was startled and quickly backed away a few steps. Grace, don't get agitated. It's not good for your health. Go. Sarah didn't dare say anything more and turned to leave quickly. I closed the door and sank to the floor. Pregnant. Sarah was pregnant with Marcus's child. 3 months ago, he went to Los on a business trip, and when he came back, he told me he was exhausted from work and didn't want to do anything. Turns out, he already had another woman, and I, like an idiot, was still worrying about how hard he worked. My phone rang. It was Marcus calling. I looked at his name, suddenly unsure what to say. The phone rang for a long time before I finally answered. Grace, are you home? I have something to tell you. His voice sounded very tired. Where are you? I asked at the office. I'll be right back, then come back. I hung up and leaned against the door, closing my eyes. What had to come would come eventually. Half an hour later, Marcus returned. The moment he walked in, he saw me sitting on the floor and rushed over. Grace, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Sarah was here, I said directly. Marcus's face instantly changed. What did she tell you? She's pregnant. I looked into his eyes, and the baby is yours. Marcus opened his mouth, but ultimately said nothing. His silence confirmed everything. So, $10 million is child support for your son? I stood up and brushed the dust off my clothes. Marcus, you're really a good father. Grace, let me explain. Explain what? I sneered. Explain how you betrayed me, or explain how you got another woman pregnant. I drank too much that day, and I don't remember anything. Marcus quickly said. By the time I sobered up, everything had already happened, and then, I continued to ask, what do you plan to do? He hesitated. I'll take responsibility. Responsibility. Those 2 words again. How will you take responsibility? Divorce me and marry her? No. Grace, Marcus shook his head. I won't divorce you, but the baby is innocent. I can't just ignore it. Then what do you want? I looked at him. Do you want to be their sugar daddy forever? Or do you want me to share a husband with her? Grace, don't say such things. Marcus frowned. You are my wife. That won't change. Then what about Sarah and the baby? I'll give them the best life, but I only have one home, and that's with you. What pompous words. He wanted to be a good husband and a good father to his mistress's child. Where in the world could such a good thing exist? Marcus, do you think he'd agree to this arrangement? Grace, I know this isn't fair to you, but no buts. I cut him off. Since you've made your choice, I have mine too. What choice? Divorce, I said. Word by word now, immediately, divorce. Chapter 3. Grace, you can't do this. Marcus grabbed my hand. Our relationship can't be destroyed by an accident. Accident? He called betrayal an accident. Let go of me. I shook off his hand. Marcus, I gave you a chance yesterday. When I asked you, you could have been honest. But you chose to lie. I wasn't lying. I just didn't know how to tell you, and now you know. I scoffed. Did force you to say it? Did she threaten to expose you if you didn't acknowledge the baby? Marcus's face changed, clearly confirming it hit a nerve. Grace, it's not what you think. Then what is it? I walked upstairs. Forget it. I don't want to hear it anymore. My lawyer will contact you tomorrow. As for the property division, I won't shortchange you. How much money are you going to give me to get rid of me? Marcus followed behind me, his tone mocking. Ms. Grace, do you think money can solve everything? I stopped and turned to face him. Then what do you want? I want you. He came closer. his eyes sincere. Grace, you are the one I love, not Sarah. She was just an accident, and our marriage shouldn't end because of this accident. Then how do you plan to handle Sarah and the baby? I'll give them enough money for them to leave the city and never appear before us again. I smiled. Do you think Sarah will agree? She's carrying your child. Will she give up so easily? She will agree, Marcus said with certainty. Any problem that can be solved with money isn't a problem at all. How naive. Sarah didn't want money. She wanted Marcus himself. What if she doesn't agree? I continued to ask. She definitely will. Marcus avoided my gaze anyway. I won't let her affect our marriage, all right. I nodded. Then I'll wait and see how you solve it. Grace, you promise not to divorce me. Marcus looked at me surprised. I didn't say I wouldn't divorce you. I corrected him. I just want to see if you have the ability to solve the mess you created. The smile on Marcus's face froze. If you can make Sarah and the baby completely disappear, never to show up again, I can consider forgiving you, I said. But if you can't, if I can't, then what? Then divorce, I said calmly. I won't share a man with another woman, even if she's carrying your child. Marcus gritted his teeth. I understand, I'll handle it. Then I'll wait for your good news. That evening, Marcus went out, saying he was going to negotiate with Sarah. I didn't stop him, nor did I follow him, because I knew this wouldn't be as simple as he thought. Since dared to return to the city and dared to tell me about her pregnancy to my face, it meant she had leverage. How could a pregnant woman give up easily? Sure enough, the next morning, Marcus returned with a dark expression. How did it go? I asked. She refused. Marcus said through clenched teeth. She said the baby needs a father, and she won't leave with the baby, and then, she also said. Marcus paused. She said if I didn't acknowledge the baby, she would go to the media and expose everything. Threat. Just as I expected. So what do you plan to do? I asked calmly. I need to think of another way. Marcus rubbed his hair in frustration. Give me some time. All right. I nodded. I'll give you 1 week. 1 week. Marcus's eyes widened. Grace, how can something like this be resolved so quickly? Then how long do you want? A month? 3 months? Or until she gives birth? I looked at him coldly. Marcus, my patience has limits. I know. Marcus quickly said. 1 week is enough. I'll definitely resolve it. Unfortunately, he overestimated his capabilities. 3 days later, things completely spiraled out of control. That day, I was in a meeting at the office when my secretary, Lisa, rushed in and knocked. Ms. Grace, there are reporters waiting for you outside. Reporters. I frowned. What for? It seems to be about your husband, Lisa said cautiously. My heart sank, and I immediately understood what had happened. Sarah had made her move. Let them in. I straightened myself. Remember, record the entire thing. Soon, 3 reporters walked in. The lead was a middle-aged woman who looked very professional. Hello, Ms. Grace, I'm Brenda, a reporter from the Metropolitan. The female reporter got straight to the point after sitting down. We'd like to know your thoughts on your husband, Marcus, having a child out of wedlock with another woman. Child out of wedlock. It was indeed Sarah who leaked it, Ms. Brenda, to my knowledge, Ms. Sarah is merely a friend of my husband's, I said. As for her pregnancy, I need to see concrete evidence. There is evidence. Ms. Brenda pulled out a stack of photos. These were provided by Ms. Sarah, showing her and Marcus at a hotel. I took the photos. My heart completely cold. In the photos, Marcus and Sarah were in a hotel room, both disheveled in intimate poses. And this, Ms. Brenda handed over another document. This is a paternity test report, proving that the fetus in Ms. Sarah's womb is indeed Marcus's. Paternity test. How could they do a paternity test when the baby hadn't been born yet? I carefully examined the document and realized it was a non-invasive prenatal DNA test, which could detect fetal DNA by drawing blood from the pregnant woman. The results showed a 99.99% probability of Marcus's paternity. The evidence was conclusive, undeniable. Ms. Grace, do you have anything to say? Ms. Brenda looked at me, her eyes showing sympathy. Given what Mr. Marcus has done, will you choose to forgive him? I was silent for a moment, then slowly said, marriage is between 2 people. If one party chooses to betray, then there's no need for that marriage to continue. You mean you're getting a divorce? Yes. I nodded. I will resolve this through legal means. Then what are your thoughts on Ms. Sarah and her child? The baby is innocent, I said. But that doesn't mean I'll pay for someone else's mistake. Since did it, he has to bear the consequences. After the interview, The reporters left. Lisa looked at me worriedly. Ms. Grace, are you okay? I'm fine. I tidied up the documents. Please contact Mr. Robert for me and tell him I need to process the divorce papers as soon as possible. Understood. Lisa hesitated. Ms. Grace, about Mr. Marcus. Don't worry about him. I stood up. From today onwards, his affairs have nothing to do with me. When I returned home, Marcus was already waiting for me. His face was grim. He clearly knew about the news. Grace, let me explain. He immediately spoke when he saw me. No need to explain. I walked straight upstairs. I've seen all the evidence. Those photos are doctored. Marcus followed me. Grace, you have to believe me. Doctored? I stopped and turned to look at him. Then is the paternity test report also doctored? Marcus was instantly speechless. Marcus, even now, are you still going to lie to me? I shook my head in disappointment. Forget it. Saying anything now is meaningless. Grace, please give me one more chance. Tears welled up in Marcus's eyes. I truly know I was wrong. Too late. I said coldly. Tomorrow, we're going to process the divorce papers. I don't agree to a divorce. Marcus suddenly shouted. Grace, don't think you're special just because you're the Vance heiress. I can still live a good life without you. I looked at him. This man who was once gentle and considerate, now revealing his ugliest side. Is that so? I smiled. Then let's see about that. Chapter for the next morning. The news of the divorce made headlines across major media outlets. Wealthy family crisis. Vance angrily cheating Marcus. His pregnant. Wealthy family crumbles. Grace to husband's cheating. Won't pay for others' mistakes. My phone hadn't stopped ringing since morning, with calls from various reporters and friends. I didn't answer any of them, focusing solely on the divorce proceedings. Ms. Grace, based on the evidence you've provided, we have a strong case for this divorce. Mr. Robert put down the documents. Marcus's infidelity, especially getting his mistress pregnant, puts you in a legally superior position. What about property division? I asked. Separate property belongs to each party, and community property is split 50-50, Mr. Robert said. However, given Marcus's wrongdoing, the court might rule in your favor. I don't want his money, I said. I just want a clean divorce. That wouldn't be fair to you. Mr. Robert frowned. Marcus has taken a significant amount in dividends from Vance over the years. You should, by rights, receive compensation. No need. I waved my hand. I'm not short on money. I just want to end this marriage as soon as possible. All right. I understand. Mr. Robert nodded. I'll go to the courthouse to file the divorce petition now. After Robert left, my phone rang again. This time, it was Marcus calling. Grace, let's talk. His voice sounded very tired. There's nothing to talk about. I was about to hang up. Wait, Marcus quickly said. Regarding the property division, I have something to say. What? I want 50% of Vance stock. I froze for a moment. What did you say? You heard me correctly. Marcus's tone suddenly became firm. We've been married for 3 years, and I've contributed a lot to Vance. I should receive appropriate compensation. Marcus, are you crazy? I couldn't believe my ears. Vance stock is my separate property. But after we got married, as the Vance family son-in-law, I secured many collaborations. Marcus sneered. I played a crucial role in Vance's development over these years. I was stunned by his shamelessness. And this house, this jewelry, the vehicles, and the savings in our accounts. I want half of everything. Marcus continued. Grace, you can get a divorce. But don't think you can get rid of me without paying a single cent. Marcus, you were the one who cheated, who betrayed our marriage. I was trembling with rage. What right do you have to demand my property? My right as your husband, and the law states community property split 50-50. Marcus said triumphantly. Grace, don't think I don't know anything. I took a deep breath, forcing myself to calm down. Marcus, are you sure you want to do this? I've decided. His attitude was resolute. Either you give me what I'm owed, or we'll see you in court. Good. I nodded. Then we'll see you in court. I hung up and immediately called Mr. Robert. Mr. Robert, Marcus wants half of my property, including Van's stock. What? Mr. Robert said, surprised. Is he crazy? The stock is your separate property. He has no right to demand a split. He said he contributed to Van's development. Nonsense. Mr. Robert said angrily, even if he did contribute, it was his duty, and it cannot be a reason to divide separate property. What about other property? The house, vehicles, jewelry, these indeed belong to community property, Mr. Robert said, but considering his infidelity, the court won't award him half. I understand, I said. Go ahead and prepare, since he wants a lawsuit, well, see it through to the end. After hanging up, I couldn't help but sneer. Marcus had truly surpassed my expectations of him, cheating, getting his mistress pregnant, threatening his mistress, and now trying to claim my property. How did I ever fall for a man like this? As I was thinking, the doorbell rang. I thought it was a reporter, but when I opened the door, I saw Sarah. Her belly was visibly showing, making her look indeed about 4 months pregnant. What do you want now? I asked testily. Grace, I want to talk. Sarah's eyes were red-rimmed, looking as if she had just cried. We have nothing to talk about. I was about to close the door. Wait. Sarah quickly stopped me. Grace, I know you hate me, but I really have something to say. Say it. I didn't let her in, just stood at the doorway and listened. I don't want to ruin your marriage. Sarah bit her lip. I contacted the media because I just wanted Marcus to acknowledge the baby. I never intended to marry him. And then, I hope you can forgive Marcus and not get a divorce. Sarah said, I can leave with the baby and never appear before you again. I looked at her, finding it ridiculous. Sarah, do you think he'll believe you? I'm telling the truth, Sarah quickly said. Grace, Marcus loves you, not me. That night was just an accident, and I shouldn't ruin your relationship because of an accident. If you knew it was an accident, then why did you actively contact the media in the first place? I retorted. Sarah's face flushed, because threatened me, saying if I didn't leave, I'd make sure I couldn't stay in this city. I was scared, so you exposed him. I just wanted to protect myself, Sarah said. But now I've realized I shouldn't have done that. Then what do you want? I want to talk to Marcus and tell him not to divorce you, Sarah said seriously. I can sign an agreement, promising never to appear before you again. I smiled. Sarah, are you tired of acting? What? Sarah froze. Do you think I can't see through you? I looked at her coldly. You don't want us to reconcile at all. All you want is for Marcus to divorce me. No, I really. Enough. I cut her off. Sarah, your goal has been achieved. Marcus not only wants to divorce me now, but he also wants half of my property. You must be very happy, right? Sarah's face showed surprise. What? Marcus wants half of your property? Don't pretend. I saw through her act. All of this was planned by you too, wasn't it? First, let me discover your relationship, then Marcus pretends to feel guilty, but in reality, he's waiting for me to initiate the divorce. Grace, you've misunderstood, and finally, use the divorce to get half of my property, I continued. Sarah, you two have quite a clever scheme. It's not like that. Sarah cried, tears streaming down her face. Grace, you really have misunderstood. Whether it's a misunderstanding or not, time will tell. I prepared to close the door. Sarah, since you chose this path, you'll have to bear the consequences. Grace, listen to me. Bang. I slammed the door shut, leaning against the door. I closed my eyes. Whether was telling the truth or not, it no longer mattered. Marcus had already revealed his true colors. A man like this isn't worth any more of my feelings. My phone rang. It was Chloe calling. Grace, are you okay? I saw the news. Her voice was full of concern. I'm fine, I said. If anything, I feel a sense of relief, really. Aren't you sad? Sad about what? I chuckled. Sad I married a scumbag? Grace, Chloe, I finally understand now that some people just aren't worth shedding tears over. I said. Marcus wants my property? Dream on. Exactly. That's the spirit, Chloe said excitedly. Grace, do you need my help? No, I said. I can handle it myself. All right then. Just contact me anytime if you need anything. After hanging up, I took out my laptop and started searching for all of Marcus's actions over the past 3 years. Since he wanted to make things ugly, he shouldn't blame me for being unmerciful. Soon, I discovered some interesting things. 3 years ago, when Marcus first married me, he borrowed $5 million from Vance for an investment, claiming it was for a real estate project, but in reality, he transferred that $5 million to a shell company, and then to an overseas account, also. Many of the cooperation agreements he signed as the Vance family's son-in-law had issues on the surface. He was securing orders for Vance, but he was actually taking a lot of kickbacks from them. The more I investigated, the angrier I became. It turned out that for the past 3 years, Marcus had been scheming against me and Vance, and I, like an idiot, thought he genuinely loved me. Marcus, since you're so greedy, I'll make sure you get nothing at all. I sneered. Chapter 5. The next day, I arranged to meet Marcus at the law firm to officially discuss the divorce. Marcus brought his attorney, A shrewd-looking middle-aged man, Ms. Grace. I'm Mr. Thomas, Mr. Marcus's attorney, the man said, extending his hand. Regarding the property division, we hope to resolve it through negotiation. I didn't shake his hand, just nodded coldly. Please sit, Mr. Robert motioned for everyone to sit down. Since both parties wish to divorce, let's go straight to the terms. Ms. Grace, these are our demands. Mr. Thomas said, pulling out some documents. Mr. Marcus requests a 50-50 split of the community property, including property, vehicles, savings, and shares in vans. The shares are not community property, Mr. Robert immediately countered. That's Ms. Grace's separate property. But Marcus made significant contributions to Vance during the marriage, Mr. Thomas said unhurriedly. According to relevant legal provisions, he has the right to claim appropriate compensation. What contributions? I scoffed. Mr. Marcus, can you tell me specifically what contributions you made to Vance? Marcus puffed out his chest. Over the past 3 years, as the Vance family son-in-law, I secured hundreds of millions of dollars in value in orders for the office. Really? I pulled a stack of documents from my bag. Then can you explain why you took $500,000 in kickbacks from 3 of those projects? Marcus's face instantly changed. What are you talking about? I didn't take any kickbacks. You didn't? I pushed the documents towards him. These are bank transfer records, clearly showing where the kickbacks went. Mr. Thomas quickly took the documents to review, and his face also changed after reading them. This is just a normal business commission, Marcus argued forcefully. Business commission. I pulled out another contract. Then can you explain why the price on this contract is 30% higher than the market rate? Market prices fluctuate, Marcus. How long are you going to keep making excuses? I interrupted him. Did you think I knew nothing? I successively produced several pieces of evidence, all of which were proof of Marcus's illegal and irregular activities at Vance over the past 3 years. In the most serious instance, he even privately leaked Vance's trade secret to a competitor, gaining $2 million in illicit benefits. How could this be? Marcus's face turned ashen as he looked at the evidence. How do you have these things? How do I have them? I sneered. Marcus, did you think I was president of Vance for nothing? I have records of every fund movement and every cooperation project that happened in the office. You knew all along? Marcus looked at me in disbelief. Yes, I knew all along, I admitted, but I thought you were just greedy for money. I never imagined your feelings were fake too. Mr. Thomas's expression became grim after seeing all the evidence. Mr. Marcus, you didn't tell me about these matters before, he said, dissatisfied. If this evidence is true, you won't only lose your share of the property, but you might also face criminal charges. Criminal charges? Marcus panicked. Embezzlement and trade secret theft, Mr. Robert said coldly. Mr. Marcus, you illegally profited $8 million from Vance over the past 3 years, which constitutes a crime. Impossible. Marcus suddenly stood up. This money is what I'm owed. Owed? I also stood up. Marcus, what gives you the nerve to say this money is what you're owed? I'm your husband. I worked for Vance. You worked for Vance, and Vance paid you a salary. I said each word deliberately. But if you used your position to embezzle company property, that's a crime. Marcus completely panicked. He looked at Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas, say something. Mr. Thomas shook his head. Mr. Marcus, the evidence is conclusive. There's nothing I can do. Grace, after all we've been through as husband and wife, Marcus tried to plead. Husband and wife. I interrupted him. Marcus, when you betrayed me, we stopped being husband and wife. When you schemed against me, we weren't even friends. I know I was wrong. I can return the money. You know you're wrong now. Too late. I collected the documents. Marcus, you wanted my property, right? Now I'm giving you 2 choices. What choices? First, I'll call the police and send you to prison, I said coldly. Second, you leave with nothing and get out of my life forever. Impossible. Marcus yelled. Grace, you can't do this to me. I can't. I chuckled. Marcus, do you really think you have any leverage left? You're not afraid I'll expose these things? Marcus threatened. Vance's reputation will be damaged then. Expose them? I looked at him. Marcus, do you really think I'm afraid of you? I pulled out my cell phone and played a recording. In the recording, Marcus was discussing with a man how to transfer funds from Vance. This is a recording from 3 months ago, I said. Marcus, do you think it would benefit you or me if this recording were made public? Marcus was completely stunned. He never imagined I would have recorded it in advance. And this? I pulled out a USB drive. This contains your chat history with Sarah, which started 3 years ago. What? Mr. Robert was also surprised. Yes, they've been together for 3 years, I said calmly. Sarah's trip overseas was arranged by Marcus. Her pregnancy was also planned by Marcus. Impossible. Marcus slumped into the chair. Their plan was simple. I continued. First, let me discover their relationship, then create a false pretense of Marcus's guilt, wait for me to initiate the divorce, and finally split half of my property. Unfortunately, they underestimated me. I sneered. Marcus, did you really think I was that easy to fool? Marcus looked up at me. His eyes filled with fear. Grace, let's talk again. I can give all the money back to you. No need. I stood up. Marcus, you have 10 minutes to decide. Go to prison or leave with nothing. Marcus hesitated. Time's up. I checked my watch. What's your choice? I choose to leave with nothing. Marcus closed his eyes. But you have to promise not to pursue any legal action against me. Okay? I nodded. But you'll have to sign an agreement admitting all your wrongdoings during the marriage and promising never to bother me again. All right, Marcus said weakly. Mr. Robert quickly prepared the agreement. After signed it, our marriage was officially over. Walking out of the law firm, I took a deep breath. It was finally over. This painful marriage was finally over. My cell phone rang. It was Sarah. Grace, Marcus told me you two got divorced? Her voice had a hint of surprise. Yes, I said coldly. Sarah, you must be very happy, right? I'm not happy. Just what? Just didn't expect Marcus to leave with nothing so quickly? I interrupted her. Sarah, your plan failed. What plan? Grace, I don't understand what you're talking about. Stop pretending. I scoffed. Sarah, I have all your chat history with Marcus. You two were planning all of this 3 years ago. There was silence on the other end of the line. Grace, you know everything. Sarah's tone changed. No longer feigning innocence, of course. I do, I said. Sarah, did you really think I was that easy to fool? We just wanted some money to live a good life. What's wrong with that? Sarah's voice grew shrill. The family has plenty of money. What's wrong with giving us a little? Give you a little? I was stunned by her audacity. Sarah, what you wanted wasn't a little, but half of my property. So what? You're not short on money anyway. Unfortunately, you'll get nothing, I said coldly. Sarah, Marcus has already left with nothing. You two can live the life you want now. What? Leave with nothing? Sarah shrieked. Impossible. How could he not get a single cent? Because he committed a crime. I briefly explained the situation. After listened, she was silent for a long time. Grace, can we meet? She finally said, I want to talk to you. There's no need. I refused. Sarah, from today on, we're strangers. Wait. Sarah quickly said, Grace, what about the baby in my belly? That's your business with Marcus. It has nothing to do with me. I said indifferently, aren't you two so in love? Now you can be together openly and without pretense, but has no money. Then you two can work for a living. I interrupted her. Sarah, no one in this world owes you anything. Hanging up the phone, I breathed a complete sigh of relief. This farce was finally over. Chapter 6. A month after the divorce, my life finally returned to normal, without entanglement and Sarah's harassment. I felt the whole world was more peaceful. This morning, I was in my office working when my assistant Lisa knocked and came in. Ms. Grace, there's a man downstairs who wants to see you. He says he's a friend of Marcus. A friend of Marcus? I frowned. What's his name? He said his name is Wang. I thought for a moment, but had no impression of him. Let him come up, I said, but stay with us soon. A man in his 30s walked in. He seemed a bit nervous, rubbing his hands together constantly after sitting down. Ms. Grace, hello, I'm Wang. He introduced himself. I was Marcus's high school classmate. What can I do for you? I asked directly. Well, Marcus asked me to come find you, Wang said cautiously. He wants to see you. See me? I scoffed. What does he want to see me about? He said he has something important to tell you. What important thing? Wang hesitated. It's about Sarah. Sarah? I was intrigued. What does he want to say? I'm not sure about the specifics, but Marcus said that if you knew the truth, you might regret the divorce. Wang said, regret? I found it ridiculous. Mr. Davis, do you think he'd regret it? I don't know, but Marcus is very insistent, Wang said. Ms. Grace, can you give him a chance? Just one meeting. I thought for a moment and nodded in agreement. All right, but I'll choose the place. Of course, Wang sighed in relief. The next afternoon, I arranged to meet Marcus at a coffee shop, from a distance. I saw him sitting in a corner waiting for me. After more than a month apart, he had lost a lot of weight, and his face was drawn. Grace, seeing me, he immediately stood up. Sit. I sat opposite him. What do you want to say? Marcus was silent for a moment before speaking. Grace, Sarah lied to all of us. What do you mean? The baby in her belly isn't mine, Marcus said. I was startled for a moment. What did you say? That paternity test report was fake. Marcus pulled out a new report. This is the real test result. I took the report and examined it carefully. The results showed paternity was excluded. How is this possible? I frowned. The previous report, Sarah forged it. Marcus gave a bitter laugh. She paid off the lab technician to make a fake report. Then who's the father of the child? Her boyfriend from overseas, Marcus said. He's French. But he doesn't acknowledge the child. I began to understand a little. So she came back to the city to make you a sucker? Yes, Marcus nodded. She knew I still loved her, so she preyed on my feelings, wanting to get money from me. Then what about your photos from the hotel? She set it up, Marcus said. She drugged my drink, then had someone take photos. Nothing actually happened. I listened quietly, my emotions complex. If what Marcus was saying was true, had I misunderstood him? Do you have any evidence? I asked. Yes. Marcus pulled out his cell phone. This is a recording of Sarah admitting the truth. I took the cell phone and played the recording. It was indeed Sarah's voice. She admitted the child wasn't Marcus's and that the paternity test was fake. Why would she admit it? I asked, puzzled. Because her real boyfriend came looking for her, Marcus said. That changed his mind, agreed to acknowledge the child, and wanted to marry her, and then told me the whole truth. Marcus said bitterly. Grace, we were both fooled by her. I fell into deep thought. If all of this was true, then Marcus was indeed innocent. But what about the other things? Marcus, even if the situation with Sarah was a misunderstanding, what about your embezzlement of Van's property? That was real, wasn't it? I looked at him. Marcus blushed. That money, I can return it. Why did you embezzle it? I continued to ask. If you needed money, you could have asked me. Marcus hesitated. I wanted to give you a surprise. What surprise? I wanted to use that money to invest in a project. If it succeeded, I could make a lot of money and then buy you a bigger house. Marcus said. I wanted to prove I wasn't just living off your family, so you privately diverted company funds? I thought I could return it quickly. Marcus lowered his head, but the project failed, and the money was lost. I looked at him and suddenly felt sorry for him. A man, trying to prove his capability, ended up losing his entire marriage. What about those kickbacks? I asked again. Those weren't kickbacks, they were investment dividends, Marcus explained. I invested my own money in those projects, so I received dividends. Do you have proof? Marcus took out a stack of documents. These are all investment agreements. They can prove what I'm saying is true. I carefully examined the documents and found that it was indeed as he said. Those so-called kickbacks were actually his investment returns. Grace, I know I did a lot of wrong things. Marcus looked at me, with tears in his eyes, but I never intended to hurt you. Then why didn't you tell me the truth sooner? I asked. I wanted to solve it myself. I wanted to wait until I paid back the money before telling you, Marcus said. I didn't want you to think less of me. I sighed deeply. So all of this was a misunderstanding, Sarah's scheming, Marcus's foolishness, and my suspicion created this tragedy. Grace, can we start over? Marcus asked cautiously. I looked at him, my emotions complex logically. Since it was a misunderstanding, we could indeed start over, but emotionally, I was already disappointed in him. For the past month, I had been doing very well. I could live a fulfilling life without him. Did I really want to go back to how things were before? Thinking this, I picked up my cell phone and called Chloe. Chloe, I need to talk to you. What's wrong? Your voice sounds off, Chloe said, concerned. Marcus came to find me and told me some things. I told her everything that had happened that day. Chloe was silent for a while after listening. Grace, do you think he's telling the truth? He should be. He has evidence, I said. So, do you want to get back together? I don't know. I said honestly, logically. I feel like I should forgive him, but emotionally, I don't feel the same way I used to. That means you've moved on, Chloe said. Grace, you can't force feelings, but if it really was a misunderstanding, even if it was a misunderstanding, he's the one who caused it. Chloe interrupted me. If he had been honest from the start, none of this would have happened. You're right. I nodded. Besides, Grace, Don't you think your life is good now? Chloe asked. I thought about it. It's pretty good. Then that's enough, Chloe said. Whether it was a misunderstanding or not, since you've reached this point, it means you're not compatible. Maybe you're right. I said. Of course, I'm right. Chloe chuckled. Grace, you need to trust your feelings. If you don't have feelings for him anymore, then you don't, and you shouldn't let yourself be held hostage by a sense of obligation. After hanging up, I felt a lot clearer. Yes, whether it was a misunderstanding or not. My feelings for Marcus had disappeared. For the past month, I had been doing very well, and I didn't need to change my current life for anyone. The next day, I arranged to meet Marcus again. Grace, what have you decided? He looked at me expectantly. Marcus, I'm sorry, I said calmly. I can't get back together with you. Why? Marcus's face instantly turned pale. Grace, I've already proven my innocence. I know. I nodded. I believe what you said is true, and I forgive you. Then why? Because I don't have feelings for you anymore. I looked him directly in the eyes. Marcus, I've been doing very well this past month, and I don't want to go back to the past. Grace, feelings can be rekindled, Marcus said reluctantly. Give me a chance to love you again. No need. I shook my head. Marcus, we're over. Let's not start again. But I love you. Marcus's eyes were red with urgency. I know, I said. But love isn't one-sided. I no longer have love for you. Marcus was silent for a long time, then finally gave a bitter smile and nodded. I understand. I hope you find someone who's truly right for you. I said sincerely. You too, Marcus said before turning and leaving. Watching his retreating back, I felt a pang of reluctance, but more than that, a sense of relief. This relationship had finally come to a complete end. Chapter 7. 3 months later, my life was completely back on track, free from emotional entanglements. I poured all my energy into my work, and Vance thrived under my management. One morning, I was in a meeting when my assistant Lisa hurried in. Ms. Grace, I apologize for interrupting, but there are reporters waiting for you downstairs. Reporters? I frowned. What about? It seems to be about Marcus and Sarah. Lisa whispered. My heart sank. I paused the meeting and met the reporters in my office. Ms. Grace, hello. We'd like to know your thoughts on your ex-husband Marcus's alleged fraud. Fraud? I asked, surprised. What fraud? It's like this. Marcus and Sarah are suspected of contract fraud and have been arrested by the police, the reporter said. According to our information, they defrauded multiple investors of funds totaling $200 million. I was utterly stunned. How could Marcus be involved in fraud? Ms. Grace, are you aware of this matter? The reporter continued to ask. I am not aware, I replied truthfully. Marcus and I have been divorced for half a year. I'm not clear on his affairs. But we understand that one of the victims mentioned that Marcus previously committed fraud in your name. What? I was absolutely furious. In my name? Yes, he claimed he was still your husband and could represent Vance in investment cooperation. I took a deep breath, trying to calm myself. Reporter friends, I can clearly tell everyone that Marcus and I are divorced, and he has no right to represent me or Vance. If he committed fraud in my name, I will actively cooperate with the police investigation and pursue legal action against him. The reporters took a few photos and left. I immediately summoned the head of the legal department. Contact the police immediately. I need to understand the detailed circumstances of Marcus's fraud case. I said, if he truly committed fraud in my name, we must clarify it immediately to protect Vance's reputation. Understood, Ms. Grace. The legal head immediately went to handle it. In the afternoon, the police came to my office. Ms. Grace, we're from the Economic Crimes Investigation Division. The leading officer presented his identification. We'd like to understand Marcus's situation. Please sit. I motioned for them to sit down. What are the specific circumstances? Marcus and Sarah are suspected of contract fraud, the officer said. They set up an investment company and defrauded multiple investors of funds using high returns as bait, and then they absconded with the funds. The officer said, however, we caught them at the airport yesterday. Where were they trying to escape to? Overseas. Sarah's boyfriend had arranged identities for them in France. I nodded. So how can I help you? It's like this. Many victims said that Marcus repeatedly mentioned you and Vance during the fraud. The officer said, we want to confirm if you were aware of this. I was completely unaware. I said, and I've been divorced from Marcus for half a year. Any actions he takes have nothing to do with me. We know, The officer nodded, but for the sake of the investigation, we hope you can cooperate with us and provide some evidence. What evidence? Prove that you and Marcus are indeed divorced and that he has no right to represent you or Vance. I immediately called my assistant and retrieved the divorce certificate and relevant legal documents. After carefully reviewing them, the officer nodded in satisfaction. One more thing. The officer said, Marcus claimed that the money he defrauded was to repay a debt to you. What debt? I asked, surprised. He said he owed you a lot of money during the marriage and had to pay it back. I sneered, Officer, I can clearly tell you that Marcus doesn't owe me any money. On the contrary, he embezzled funds from Vance. I showed the officer the evidence I had previously collected against Marcus. This evidence shows that Marcus did embezzle funds from Vance during the marriage, but at the time of the divorce, I chose not to pursue charges. Why didn't you pursue charges? The officer asked, puzzled. Because I wanted to completely sever all ties with him. I said, but now it seems he mistook my leniency for weakness. The officer nodded. Ms. Grace, your cooperation is very helpful to our investigation. If we need anything else, we'll contact you. I'll cooperate at any time, I said. After the officers left, I felt very conflicted. I never expected Marcus to fall so low, from betraying our marriage to embezzling property. And now to contract fraud. How did he end up like this, step by step? That evening, I received a call from an unknown number. Hello, Grace. It's me. Sarah's voice came through the phone. Sarah? I asked, surprised. Why are you calling me? Weren't you arrested? I was released on bail. Sarah's voice was very disheartened. Grace, I want to see you. There's nothing for us to see each other about. I prepared to hang up. Wait, Sarah quickly said. Grace, I have something to tell you about Marcus. About? Yes, there are some things you should know, Sarah said. Grace, Marcus became like this because of you. Because of me? I was shocked by her words. Sarah, what are you talking about? Marcus always loved you deeply, but you heartlessly abandoned him, Sarah said. He only did these things to win you back, win me back. I scoffed. Sarah, are you mistaken about something? You two conspired to scheme against me. I didn't abandon him, no. Grace, Sarah's voice was tearful. Marcus told me everything that happened afterward. He said he misunderstood you and wanted to win you back, but you refused him, and then he went crazy, Sarah said. He said since he couldn't have your love, he would get enough money to make you regret it. I was silent for a moment. So that was it. Marcus committed fraud to get back at me. Sarah, you should tell this to the police, not to me, I said coldly. Grace, I know you hate me, but Marcus truly loves you, Sarah continued. He's in prison now, and he talks about you every day, so what? I asked. Can you go see him? Sarah pleaded. Just one look, to make him give up hope. Impossible, I refused. Sarah, Marcus and I are over. No matter what he does, it won't change that fact. Grace, enough, I interrupted her. Sarah, you two are responsible for your own mistakes. Don't expect anyone else to pay for your stupidity. After hanging up, I fell into deep thought. Marcus's change was truly unexpected, however. I didn't regret my choice. If someone lashes out in a destructive way just because of a relationship setback, it indicates a fundamental problem with them. I was glad I left him in time. Otherwise, the consequences would have been unimaginable. The next day, news of Marcus's fraud case went viral on social media. Former family son-in-law arrested for $200 million fraud. Marcus and Sarah's joint fraud case shocks the business world. My cell phone was flooded with calls from various reporters again. To avoid affecting Vance's reputation, I held a press conference. To all reporter friends, regarding Marcus's fraud case, I want to clarify a few points, I said, standing on the press conference stage, facing dozens of media outlets. First, Marcus and I have been divorced for half a year, and any actions he takes have nothing to do with me. Second, Marcus has no right to represent me or Vance in any business activities. Third, if anyone suffered losses because they believed Marcus's words, I sympathize deeply, but Vance bears no responsibility. Ms. Grace, it's rumored that Marcus committed fraud to win you back. What are your thoughts on this? A reporter asked. Everyone must take responsibility for their own actions, I said calmly, regardless of the motive. Fraud is a criminal act and should be punished by law. Then will you visit Marcus? No, I said firmly. I have no connection to him anymore. After the press conference, I returned to my office, feeling physically and mentally exhausted. When would this farce truly end? Just as I was thinking this, my assistant knocked and came in. Ms. Grace, a lady named Mrs. Eleanor wants to see you, Mrs. Eleanor. Marcus's mother. Let her in, I said. Soon, a woman in her 50s walked in. She looked very drawn, and her eyes were red and swollen, clearly having just cried. Grace, I'm Marcus's mother, she said with a trembling voice. Mrs. Eleanor, please sit. I motioned for her to sit down. Grace, I beg you, save Marcus. Mrs. Eleanor started crying as soon as she sat down. He's still young, he can't be ruined like this. Mrs. Eleanor, I can't help with this matter, I said. Besides, I'm not obligated to help. Grace, I know Marcus wronged you, but he truly knows he made a mistake. Mrs. Eleanor grabbed my hand. You two were husband and wife. Please have a heart and save him. I gently pulled my hand away. Mrs. Eleanor, everyone is equal before the law. Marcus broke the law, and he must face the consequences. But he only did it for you. Mrs. Eleanor, I interrupted her. Please don't say such things anymore. Marcus's fraud was his own choice, and it has nothing to do with anyone else. Mrs. Eleanor looked at me, her eyes filled with disappointment. Grace, are you really so heartless? Not heartless, but rational, I said. Mrs. Eleanor, emotions cannot be an excuse for crime. Mrs. Eleanor stood up, crying. I understand. I shouldn't have come to beg you. She turned to leave, but at the doorway, she looked back at me. Grace, one day you'll regret this. I won't, I said calmly. Mrs. Eleanor, please take care of yourself. After Eleanor left, I sat in the chair and let out a long sigh. The aftermath of this relationship was far more severe than I had imagined, but I didn't regret my choice. Some paths, once taken incorrectly, can never be reversed. Marcus chose to commit a crime, and he must bear the consequences. I wouldn't pay for anyone's mistakes, including those I once deeply loved. Chapter 8. Marcus's fraud case went to trial at the courthouse, although I didn't want to be involved, as one of the victim representatives. I was still subpoenaed to testify. In court I saw Marcus in handcuffs for the first time. In just a few months, he had changed dramatically. His hair was messy, his complexion sallow, and his former demeanor was completely gone. When he saw me, his eyes suddenly lit up. Grace. He tried to stand up excitedly, but the bailiff held him down. I gave him a cold glance, showing no emotion. The judge began the trial, and the prosecutor elaborated on the criminal facts involving Marcus and Sarah. The defendant, Marcus, along with co-conspirator Sarah, established a fraudulent investment company last year, enticing victims with high returns and defrauding them of a total of $23 million in investment funds. During the commission of the crime, the defendant, Marcus, repeatedly claimed to be Ms. Grace's husband, asserting he could represent Vance in investment cooperation, thereby deceiving victims. Listening to the prosecutor's statements, I felt a complex mix of emotions. I never thought Marcus would use my name for fraud, which made me furious. Now, will the witness, Ms. Grace, please take the stand? The judge said. I stood up and walked to the witness stand. Ms. Grace, please confirm your relationship with the defendant, Marcus, the prosecutor asked. We were once married, but we divorced last year, I answered truthfully. After the divorce, did Marcus have the right to represent you or Vance in commercial activities? Absolutely not, I stated firmly. After our divorce, he had no further connection to me or Vance. Were you aware that Marcus was using your name to commit fraud? Absolutely not, I said. If I had known, I would have stopped him. Then what are your thoughts on Marcus's criminal actions? I glanced at Marcus and saw him gazing intently at me. I believe everyone should be held accountable for their actions, I said calmly. Regardless of the motive, a crime is a crime, and it should be punished by law. Marcus's eyes dimmed when he heard my words. Next, it was the defense attorney's turn to speak. Although my client made a mistake, he is a first-time offender and has shown remorse, the attorney said. We hope the court will show leniency. The judge asked Marcus, defendant, what is your defense regarding the criminal facts? Marcus slowly stood up, looked at me, and said, I admit I committed the crime, and I am willing to bear all consequences. Then why did you commit the crime? The judge continued to ask. Marcus was silent for a moment. I wanted to win back my wife. I thought if I had money, she would come back to me. So you committed fraud. I know it's absurd, but I had lost my mind at the time, Marcus said. I truly know I was wrong. The judge asked a few more questions. then declared a recess, postponing the sentencing to a later date. As I left the courthouse, Mrs. Eleanor caught up with me. "Grace, your words were too harsh," she cried. Marcus was just confused for a moment. "Mrs. Eleanor, defrauding $23 million isn't just a moment of confusion," I said. "This was a premeditated crime, but he did it to win you back." "Mrs. Eleanor, please stop saying things like that," I said, a little impatiently. "I never asked Marcus to do anything for me, let alone commit a crime. Grace, can't you just forgive him this once?" Mrs. Eleanor pleaded. "Forgive?" I scoffed. "Mrs. Eleanor, if someone used your name to commit fraud, would you forgive him?" Mrs. Eleanor was stunned. "And how much of the money Marcus defrauded was the hard-earned savings of everyday people?" I continued. "How many families went bankrupt because of his fraud? Why should I forgive him?" After saying that, I turned and left. A week later, the courthouse announced its verdict. Marcus was sentenced to 12 years in prison, and Sarah was sentenced to 8 years. After the news broke, it once again attracted media attention. I didn't accept any interviews, only issued a statement through Vance. Vance supports the court's judgment and hopes everyone can learn from this case to uphold the law and conduct business ethically. The matter finally came to an end here, however. The shadow Marcus cast over me was not so easy to dispel. That evening, I was reading at home when I suddenly received a text message. "Grace, I'm Marcus's cellmate. Marcus asked me to message you. He said he knows he was wrong and hopes you can forgive him. He also said he would reform well in prison and apologize to you after he gets out." Seeing this message, I couldn't help but smile bitterly. Even at this point, Marcus still wouldn't give up hope. I didn't reply. I just deleted the message. Some people, some things, should just be completely forgotten. The next day at the office, I found a bouquet of flowers. Who sent them? I asked my secretary, Lisa. A delivery driver brought them. He said someone asked him to deliver them. Lisa said. No name was signed. I opened the bouquet, and inside was a note. "Grace, I'm sorry. I know I made an unforgivable mistake, but I truly love you. When I get out, I'll spend my life making it up to you." Marcus, I frowned, tore up the note, and told Lisa to throw out the flowers. In the following days, I continued to receive more bouquets of flowers and letters, all sent by Marcus through others. The contents of the letters were mostly similar. Apologies and expressions of love. I started to feel annoyed. "Lisa, from now on, if any more unsolicited bouquets of flowers or letters arrive, just refuse them." I told my secretary. "Understood, Ms. Grace." However, Marcus clearly wouldn't give up so easily. A month later, I received a call from Mrs. Eleanor. "Grace, Marcus is sick in prison," she cried. "The doctor said he has depression. He's not eating or drinking, and he's terribly thin. Then you should go see him." I said coldly. I went, but he wouldn't see me, Mrs. Eleanor said. "He said he only wanted to see you." "Impossible." I refused. "Grace, I'm begging you. Please go see him." Mrs. Eleanor cried even harder. "He's really not doing well, Mrs. Eleanor." As I said, "Marcus and I have no relationship anymore." I said, "His life or death is irrelevant to me. How can you be so heartless?" Mrs. Eleanor said angrily, "He's like this because of you." Enough. I, too, became angry. "Mrs. Eleanor, I have done everything I could. Marcus's crime was his own choice. I am not obligated to pay for his choices. Grace, please don't contact me again." I hung up the phone. After hanging up, I felt very conflicted. To say I didn't soften would be a lie. After all, we once loved each other. But I also knew that some boundaries couldn't be crossed. If I were to go see Marcus now, it would only give him false hope, and he would become even more persistently entangled. I had to harden my heart and completely cut off all contact with him. Another month passed, and I received a call from prison. "Ms. Grace, I'm a counselor from the detention center." A man's voice said over the phone, "I'd like to talk to you about the inmate Marcus's situation." "What situation?" I asked. "Marcus's mental state is very poor, and doctors recommend psychological treatment." The counselor said, "But he refuses to cooperate, saying he'll only accept treatment if he sees you. That's an internal matter for prison." "It has nothing to do with me," I said. "Ms. Grace, I know this request is a bit presumptuous, but for the inmate's mental and physical well-being, I hope you'll consider it." The counselor said, "Just one visit to help him give up hope." I was silent for a moment. "Counselor, I can tell you very clearly, I will not go to see Marcus," I said. "If he wants psychological treatment, the prison authorities can compel it. But that might not be effective. That's your problem, not mine. I interrupted him. Please don't contact me about this again. After hanging up, I resolved to completely sever all ties with Marcus. I changed my phone number, moved addresses, and even considered moving to a different city. But my work and career were here. I couldn't bear to leave. In the end, I chose to persevere, no matter how Marcus tried to harass me. I wouldn't respond. Time is the best healer. I believed that one day, all of this would pass. Chapter 9. Time passed quickly, in the blink of an eye. 2 years had gone by. Over these 2 years, I focused on my work, Vance flourished under my management, and I gradually moved past that unpleasant experience. During that time, Marcus's attempts to contact me through others became less frequent, until finally, there was no news at all. I thought the matter was over until one day, I encountered an unexpected person at the office. Grace. I looked back and saw a man in his 30s. He looked somewhat familiar. You're? I tried to recall. I'm Ethan, Marcus's college classmate. The man introduced himself. We've met a few times. I remembered. Ethan was indeed a friend of Marcus's. I'd seen him at gatherings a few times before. Mr. Ethan, can I help you? I asked politely. It's like this. I wanted to talk to you about Marcus, Ethan said. Is there somewhere we can chat? I hesitated for a moment but eventually agreed. We sat down at a coffee shop downstairs. Grace, do you know about Marcus's situation? Ethan asked, getting straight to the point. I don't know. And I don't want to know. I said directly. He's not doing well, Ethan said. He has severe depression and has attempted suicide twice already. My heart trembled, but I remained calm. That's unfortunate, but it has nothing to do with me, Grace. I know you resent him, but you two did love each other once, Ethan said. He's really suffering now. Mr. Ethan, you can't force feelings, I said. I have no feelings left for Marcus. So you're just going to stand by and watch him die? Ethan said agitedly. Mr. Ethan, please mind your words, I said, a little displeased. Marcus's life or death has nothing to do with me. I am not obligated to be responsible for his mental state. Ethan looked at me. His eyes filled with both disappointment and anger. Grace, you've really changed, he said. You weren't like this before. People always change. I said calmly, Mr. Ethan, if there's nothing else, I need to get back to work. Wait, Ethan stopped me. Grace, I have something else to say. What is it? Marcus asked me to tell you something, Ethan said. He said he knows he made an unforgivable mistake, and he doesn't ask for your forgiveness. He just wants to see you one last time before he dies. Before he dies? I frowned. He's dying? The doctor said if he doesn't cooperate with treatment, he might not last 6 months, Ethan said. Grace, please, just as a kindness, go see him. I was silent for a moment. To say I didn't soften would be a lie. But I also knew that some principles couldn't be shaken, Mr. Ethan. I appreciate your kindness, but I won't go see him. I finally refused. Why? Ethan asked, confused. Do you hate him that much? It's not hate. It's logic, I said. Mr. Ethan, the reason Marcus is like this today is because he's too fixated. If I were to go see him, it would only intensify his fixation. But if you don't go, he really will die. That's his choice. I stood up, Mr. Ethan. Everyone is responsible for their own choices. I won't pay for anyone's choices, including death. After saying that, I turned and left a coffee shop. Back at the office, I felt very conflicted. Marcus was really going to die. No matter what, we once loved each other. If he really died, would I feel guilty? But logic told me my choice was correct. Some entanglements must be ruthlessly severed. A month later, I received shocking news. Marcus died by suicide in prison. Hearing this news, I was completely stunned. When did this happen? I asked the reporter who told me the news. 3 days ago, the reporter said. He died by suicide in prison. There were no signs of life when he was found. I was silent for a long time. My emotions unusually complex. Ms. Grace, what are your thoughts on your ex-husband's death? The reporter asked. I'm saddened to hear that, I said. But everyone is responsible for their own choices. It's said that Marcus committed suicide because he couldn't get your forgiveness. What's your take on that? I don't believe anyone's death is due to a lack of forgiveness, I said calmly. Marcus's death was his own choice. Will you attend his funeral? No, I said firmly. That evening, Mrs. Eleanor called me. Grace, Marcus is dead. She cried uncontrollably. He's dead. I heard. I'm sorry to hear that, I said. It's all your fault. Mrs. Eleanor suddenly yelled furiously. If you had just agreed to see him back then, he wouldn't have died. Mrs. Eleanor, please calm down, I said. Marcus's death has nothing to do with me. How can it be irrelevant? He committed suicide because of you. No, he committed suicide because of his own guilt and despair. I corrected her, Mrs. Eleanor. Please don't shift the blame onto others. Grace, you heartless woman. Mrs. Eleanor cursed. Karma will get you. I silently listened to her curses, not refuting her. I understood a mother's pain at losing her son, but I would not take responsibility for someone else's choices. A few days later, Marcus's funeral was held. I didn't attend, but I heard many people went, including some old friends and colleagues. Ethan sent me a text message afterward. Marcus is gone. I hope you don't feel guilty. Although I thought you should have seen him one last time, I understand your choice. Seeing this message, I felt a sense of relief. At least someone understood me. Marcus's death did leave me feeling down for a while, but I knew my choice was the right one. If I had softened and gone to see him then, it might have given him false hope and prolonged his suffering. Sometimes, the greatest kindness is sticking to your principles. A month later, I received Marcus's suicide note. It was forwarded to me by prison. Grace, by the time you read this letter, I may no longer be in this world. I want to tell you that I never regretted loving you, even if that love led me to ruin. I know I made an unforgivable mistake, and I know you won't forgive me. But I still want to tell you that in the last moments of my life, I was still thinking of you. I'm sorry, Grace. I'm sorry for making you endure so much. I hope you can forget me and live a happy life. Your forever loving Marcus. After reading the suicide note, I cried, not out of regret, but rather a sad reflection. How could a person push themselves to such an extreme? But after my tears fell, my heart became calm. Marcus's death brought a complete end to this entanglement. From now on, I could truly start anew. Chapter 10. 3 months after Marcus's death, I met my current husband, Daniel. It was at a business reception. He was the owner of a newly emerging tech company, young, promising, and very charismatic. Ms. Grace, I've heard so much about you. He came over and greeted me proactively. Mr. Daniel, hello. I politely shook his hand. We talked a lot, from work to life, from ideals to reality. I found him to be a very interesting person, with profound thoughts and remarkable conversational skills. Most importantly, he didn't ask about my past relationships or show any curiosity. Ms. Grace, if you don't mind, I'd like to invite you to dinner, he said at the end of the reception. All right, I agreed. This was the first time I had accepted a man's invitation in the 3 years since my divorce. Dinner was pleasant. We talked about many topics, and time passed quickly. Ms. Grace, may I ask you a personal question? Daniel suddenly said. What is it? Destiny? He looked into my eyes. Why do you ask? Destiny, he said sincerely. My heart stirred, but I remained calm. Mr. Daniel, we've only just met, but some feelings don't take long, he said. Ms. Grace, may I pursue you? I looked at him, this man 3 years my junior, his eyes full of sincerity. I've had a failed marriage, I said, and it was very complicated, I know. He nodded. But let the past be the past. We can start anew. Aren't you afraid of gossip? I only care about your feelings, he said. Ms. Grace, will you give me a chance? I was silent for a moment, then finally nodded in agreement. In the following months, Daniel pursued me passionately. He sent me flowers every day, accompanied me to meals, and took me to movies, just like a sweet young man. Slowly, I was touched by his sincerity. Unlike Daniel, never asked about my past, nor did he try to control my life. He respected my choices, supported my career, and gave me enough freedom and space. 6 months later, he proposed to me. Grace, marry me. He knelt before me, holding a diamond ring. Isn't this too fast? I hesitated slightly. For me, it's not fast at all, he said. Grace, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I looked at him, and suddenly my heart felt very settled. Okay. I nodded in agreement. Our wedding was simple, inviting only our closest friends and family. There was no lavish ceremony, no overwhelming publicity, just a simple commitment between two people in love. Married life was very peaceful and happy. Daniel was an excellent husband, thoughtful, tolerant, and responsible. We rarely argued. Even when we had differing opinions, we would resolve them through rational communication. A year later, I became pregnant. Really? Daniel was so excited when he heard the news that he danced with joy. Really? I nodded, smiling. That's wonderful. He picked me up and spun me around. Grace, we're going to have a baby. Watching his excitement, I felt very warm inside. This was the life I wanted, peaceful, happy, and full of love. The day our child was born, Daniel waited outside the delivery room for over 10 hours. It's a girl, the nurse told him. A daughter is great, he said happily. A daughter is my little sunshine. We named our daughter Luna, hoping her life would be as beautiful as a clear sky after rain. Our daughter was very cute. She resembled me but had Daniel's lively and outgoing personality. Watching her grow day by day, I felt like the happiest woman in the world. One day, my daughter asked me, "Mommy, were you married before?" "Why do you ask?" I was a little surprised. A kid at preschool said she heard her mom say you used to have a husband. My daughter said innocently. I was silent for a moment, then knelt down and looked at her. "Luna, Mommy was indeed married before," I said honestly, "but that's in the past now. What about that uncle?" "He's no longer with us," I said. "Luna, a person might meet many people in their life, but the most important thing is to cherish what you have now." "I understand," my daughter nodded. "Mommy, I love you. And I love Daddy too. Mommy loves you too." I hugged her. In that moment, I truly let go of the past. Marcus had become history. My present and future belonged to Daniel and our daughter. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, my daughter was in elementary school. Over the years, I hadn't thought about Marcus again, until one day, Sarah appeared before me. Grace, she stood downstairs at the office, looking very drawn. Sarah. I looked at her in surprise. "What are you doing here?" "I'm out of prison," she said. "It's been 3 months." I nodded. "Congratulations on regaining your freedom, Grace. I want to apologize to you," Sarah said. "Everything that happened back then was my fault. Let's not bring up the past." I said, "Sarah, I hope you can start fresh and live your own life well." "I know, but I have to say it," Sarah said, tears in her eyes. "Grace, I'm also responsible for Marcus's death. If I hadn't returned from overseas then, perhaps none of this would have happened." "Sarah, everyone is responsible for their own choices," I said. "Marcus's death wasn't anyone's fault, but Sarah, let the past be the past." I interrupted her. "I'm very happy now. And I hope you can find your own happiness too." Sarah looked at me, her eyes filled with both envy and relief. "Grace, you've changed. You've become stronger," she said. "People always grow," I said. "Sarah, keep going. The future is still long." "Thank you, Grace." Sarah bowed deeply. "Thank you for your forgiveness." Watching her leave, I felt very peaceful. Life is like this. There are meetings and partings, beginnings and endings. What's important isn't the process, but learning to let go and learning to start anew. Now, I have a loving husband, a lovely daughter, and a successful career. I am very content and grateful. Grateful for that painful experience that taught me what true love is. Grateful for those wrong choices that made me cherish my current happiness even more. Life has no what ifs, only outcomes and consequences. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.